So today we're going to be talking about meetings, specifically how to cut down on those meetings that I'm sure all of us would be happy to save on. If I were to go ahead and just put up this poll, just wondering how many of you would agree with the assertion that you have too many meetings? Would any of you prefer to have less meetings? Go ahead and feel free to fill out that poll. And it looks like everyone selected. Okay, we've got a few dissenting, but most of you have agreed that you have too many internal meetings. This is something that we've always kept close to our hearts as we're building Zenhub. And we have found a number of strategies that we can take advantage of in order to cut down on specifically those internal meetings that we're regularly on. If I go ahead and get started, we can see here that we are within that daily stand-up view. Most of us have some sort of regular team meeting with the rest of our team, and it can get a little bit, they can run a little bit long, right? As we dig into the individual blockers, as people are listing out all the individual tickets that they're working on. But what we've managed to do is find a way to streamline it just ever so slightly. So while it is important to have that regular communication with our team, we found that some of our users have taken advantage of that daily stand-up view in order to cut down on the number of regular meetings that they're having. So as opposed to everyone getting together every day and going through the sum of the work that they currently have in flight, what some teams do is go into the in-progress pipelines, select just the pipelines that are pertinent for work in flight, and then run through the individuals who just have blockers. This way, we are unblocking those teammates that seem to be facing challenges, as opposed to running through that whole rigmarole. For other individual teams, what they've decided to do is actually just use the stand-up view asynchronously as they go throughout their workday. Instead of hopping onto that Zoom call or sitting down around that conference table, teams will look through that daily stand-up view on a regular cadence, and then once or twice a week have that broader discussion with the team where they can surface those blockers that are a fair bit larger. This is a great way to surface those challenges without necessarily having to distract individuals from that flow state they're in and pulling them away from whatever tasks they currently have on hand. Another thing that we've noticed teams sometimes have challenges with is being able to do backlog grooming. Us internally here at Zenhub, we are a remote-first organization. We've got team members that span the globe. It can be challenging sometimes to sit down with those other team members and figure out what is a priority and what isn't a priority. But the way we've decided to do this is by building out additional pipelines. So let's say, for example, in this case, we wanted to build a new pipeline. We're going to call this the new backlog. I'm going to go ahead and create it. And we're going to move it to the left, right? Just to the right of the product backlog that we have right there. And what we can do before we build out that new sprint backlog is have each one of the individuals on our team that's involved in that backlog grooming go ahead and make the selections of the tickets that currently live in that broader product backlog and make those adjustments as they see fit. Now, what we can do here and discover is what each one of our team members are focused on, what we think we should be building out at any given time. And additionally, being able to do this completely asynchronously, right? Again, what we're trying to do is cut down on the amount of time individuals are sitting around that table, hopping on those Zoom meetings and having those discussions. We can take care of this completely asynchronously while still having the exact same information. In no way, shape, or form are we, sort of advocating for never having those planning meetings. But what we're saying is by taking care of this beforehand, when we show up to that planning meeting, we already all have an idea of what everyone wants to work on, and we might have questions for the rest of our team members, right? I might disagree with one of my colleagues with regards to whether or not, as a user, I want to be able to check transaction history. Is a ticket that should be prioritized for the upcoming sprint? and we can go ahead and have that broader discussion instead of doing the asynchronous portion of the work live during a meeting as well. The other benefit of using Zenhub to set those meetings is we can go ahead, open up each one of those individual tickets, and we can do our estimation directly from Zenhub as well. Estimation meetings can be quite contentious. On occasion, there are individuals that don't necessarily agree on why a team member has estimated a ticket a specific way. But the beauty of this is that any one of those tickets that are estimated, as long as each individual that's estimating them, for example, on this ticket, if everyone here wants to give it a 4, it will automatically assign a score of 4 to that ticket, right? Whereas if we're all disagreeing, it will insist that someone come in and manually enter it. So as we're having that estimation meeting, it's not necessary to estimate all those tickets once again live. We can just discuss the tickets that we don't necessarily all agree on. The other beauty of this is it pairs quite well with our stand-up view, right? So if I go into my work, it immediately tells me the tickets that my team members have asked me to estimate, which ones I need to work on, and that is made immediately visible to me as well. The last and definitely not least, and I think one of the longer conversations that we can be having today, is our ability to actually do long-term planning with regard to specific initiatives. So in this case, if I am to open up that post MVP scaling project, look at the tickets or the epics, within it, before we sit down and sort of flesh out the individual tasks that we would like to be executed or performed with regard to that ticket, we can go ahead and take advantage of the descriptions that we are sharing, any of the necessary and associated information that we would like to work through, and then go ahead and flesh out those tickets. Additionally, we do have the ability to have comments at the bottom of those epics, so we can have that back and forth internally regarding any additional details we might have missed out on, or any questions that we might have. And that is just a few of the ways that we can go ahead and take advantage of Zenhub, cut down on those meetings, focus on the work that has to be executed on a given basis. I am going to go ahead and turn things over to you guys and see if anyone has any questions, concerns. Are there any specific use cases that I haven't been able to address? Please feel free to drop a question. I have one question here. How can we use Zenhub to cut down on planning meetings, or at least the length of those planning meetings? I think what we just discussed regarding being able to flesh out those epics with descriptions before we come to those meetings is the most pertinent to your question. Not only do we have the ability to come in and flesh it out with descriptions, I am trying to find an example here, but we also have the ability to add Notion docs that might be necessary, Loom videos, Figma boards, any of that associated information, so that when we are sitting down to plan out that initiative, that epic, that piece of work, we're starting at a common baseline, right? There's a certain amount of information that we're all keeping in mind, and we don't have to start from scratch. Are there any other questions? Is there a way to track if an issue that seems to be a blocker for a team member? Yes, there is. For those of you that are Slack users, we can go ahead, open up each one of our specific issues here, And once we do that, copy that URL and then paste it into the channel that this specific repository or this specific workspace is attached to. What we'll be doing at that point, once we paste it into that channel, make a comment to remind us to track it, is any status change made to this ticket will automatically be funneled into that Slack channel. So let's say in this specific case, George seems to be blocked by me. I haven't been able to complete one of my tickets. I can go ahead, I can copy this URL, paste it into that Slack channel, and then whenever this issue has been closed out, go ahead and inform me. But if it doesn't get closed out, I know that I have to check back in and see how he's doing, and maybe even finish up my own ticket so that he can get his work done. Any other questions? No? Awesome. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes just in case anyone has any additional questions, but we will be doing this again in 2 weeks, and I look forward to seeing most of you there.